Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. I am back in another video, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about all the reveals that they showed today for Transformers Legacy and much more in their Fan First Tuesday. I know it's usually a Fan First Friday, but there was a lot of stuff that they showed, a lot of Wave 2 for Legacy, and more stuff that's coming down the pipeline, and even some pretty cool outside of the normal action figure stuff for Transformers 2. So without further ado, let's sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchase some merch on my spring store today. Okay, so as I had said, their Hasbro Fan First Tuesday was today. We had Rachel, Isabella, and Mark, and they were showing us a bunch of cool stuff as it pertained to Transformers, and I gotta say, a lot of it really impressed me. A lot of it did. Some of it I was like, some of the figures, like there's some things that I have issue with, and I'll get into them as I talk about them individually. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is really cool, or this one just could have been better, or this one they should have done this figure with, and there's going to be a lot of shoulda, couldas, but at the end of the day, when you look at all the figures together, it's like, yeah, they're all really cool to see on the shelf. Now, those of you who had already purchased the Robosen Optimus Prime, they are re-releasing him. A lot of people, missed out. I mean, it's $750. Like, it's an expensive, figure to buy. I mean, it's 9 inches tall. It auto transforms. I know they call it self-converting. It's because they have to call it that. But the thing is, for some people, they're like, I would have bought it if it didn't sell out so quickly. Well, now you're not only going to be able to get it, but you're also going to be able to get his trailer. So the trailer is going to be sold separately. And this is one of those things where I'm like, man, so $750 for just the cab of Optimus Prime, another $750 for the trailer. But the trailer itself has its own slew of features. It transforms on its own, just like the cab does. It comes with roller. It has a whole bunch of different modes with it. So here they call it auto converting trailer and roller set. So it opens up and roller can come out and slide down, and roller actually comes with Spike, to pilot him. And you can take that little Spike figure, I guess, and you can also put it into the battle drone itself. And they also showed off that you can even, remote control it with an app on your phone, which is very much like a lot of stuff that you see nowadays with electronics, is that you're able to self-control it yourself, like so your Optimus Prime can even do a lot of extra cool stuff with it. And, Spike looks okay. It's a very small little figure. I really wish Hasbro would release like a set of like all of the human companions for the different generations of Transformers. Like give us a little Spike figure like to scale with War for Cybertron. Because it's cool that they're doing that with Robosen to actually come with Spike, but I kind of wish that they would do that with War for Cybertron too. But, here you can have him connect with the trailer and actually pilot it. So if you just get the trailer, it's kind of neat too. The thing I wonder is, like, because this trailer is going to be massive, I wonder how it's going to scale with, like, trailers for other Optimus Prime figures as well. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to use this with, like, their masterpiece Optimus Prime. Since it is able to do its own thing, that Optimus Prime can kind of like, but it's $750. If you can afford it, great. If not, my wallet's going to be going towards the action figures. At least that's what I'm going for anyway. And I have not been playing Transformers Forged to Fight, but they did announce that they are going to be adding Rodimus Prime to the list of, robots that you can get. Forged to Fight, the game itself is kind of like, I don't know. I played it when it first came out. I put it down. I really haven't enjoyed it that much, but some people love it. They absolutely love it just as much as they love Earth Wars. But Forged to Fight is kind of a cool mobile game, but adding Rodimus Prime is a definite plus in my book. Maybe I might check it out again. I'm not sure yet. And I've already talked about how IDW is coming to a close. They are going to be losing their license by the end of this year, but they are trying to gear up to print the last of their stories. So Last Bot Standing is one of them. It kind of looks, or it reminds me of RodimusPrimal, unless it's supposed to be a different bot, is kind of like the last Transformer, I guess. I'm not sure. I guess they're kind of like following in some of the footsteps of Regeneration 1, taking some story beats. They're also ending their normal run. Like, it's going to be issue 43 is going to be the last issue for the entirety of this continuity, I think, at least the story itself. Like, it's going to be a double-size issue, and, you know, Bumblebee and, you know, Prowl and Optimus are going to be fighting this huge, giant, supersized battle. They were kind of gearing up for this. I actually started reading it, and the reason why I did read it is because a lot of the characters that I've been doing retrospectives for have been showing up in the book, so it's like I've got to keep up on it, right? And I mean, the story itself, like, it takes so long to actually get started, and then it's like, okay, now you're actually telling a decent story towards the end, you know, even though I don't necessarily like all the choices that you've done with some of the characters, but, you know, hey, more power to them to be able to finish their story and actually have a conclusion. So I'm glad that it's coming to a close, because I haven't cared for it. But, you know, to some folks, it's like, I really like it. I really been enjoying it. Like, good. Like, so, and the same thing for Beast Wars. You know, Beast Wars is going to be coming to a close as well, and they're going to be, you know, publishing their final issues, and they're also doing an annual, you know, for the 25th anniversary. So if you've been enjoying the Beast Wars comic book, this is going to be, like, I think the annual, and I think they're doing, like, one more for, like, a final issue. Then they finally kicked off more to do with Legacy, showing more off of, like, this particular poster, which I really love this poster. Like, this kind of showcases that first wave of Transformers Legacy to show some more of the toys that are coming down the pipeline. And we're seeing a lot of cool stuff. And to be quite frank with you, Wave 2 has, like, really impressed me. It really did. There's all but one that I actually want to get. And there's even one figure at the end that they showed that I was like, I may actually pick this one up too, because I was on the fence about it too. I was like, okay, now I'm actually going to, you know, probably going to get this, because these all look really, really cool. They showed Wild Rider off a couple of days ago, and I know a lot of people saw some images, and people were sending me messages. My inbox have been full from everybody showing it to me, and I appreciate it, but I haven't been paying attention. I've been waiting for Hasbro's, like, big reveal so I can do a big news video for it. And Wild Rider, in my opinion, looks great. Now, I've been talking with a lot of the other guys, you know, the other, you know, Transformers YouTubers, and we've been talking about it like, man, like, you know, they could have done the wheels better, and they could have done this. And I'm like, I actually kind of dig it. You know, the way they're doing the Stunticons looks fantastic. And I'll tell you why. Combiner Wars. That's enough said. Mike Siebert, who has a podcast, posted on Twitter. I don't know if he made the image or if someone else made the image, but it was basically an image of the new Stunticons for Legacy. And then it showed Starscream passing off, you know, Combiner Wars Menasor into deep space, because nobody really liked that figure. It's like, finally we're getting a good first, you know, official, you know, Menasor. Some folks are getting the third-party stuff, and I get that. And they're actually taking a cue out of it with this. But this particular Wild Rider has a great-looking car mode. Everybody agrees. His car mode looks fantastic. This is like just an amazing-looking car mode. But when I saw the back of Wild Rider like this, like how, like, the whole, like, the hood itself, like, folds, I would not be surprised if you can fold that piece of the hood up a little bit so it doesn't look that bad. You know what I mean? Like, some people don't like the draping of it. And I get it. I totally get it. But I think that if you're still able to, like, have him in a certain way that it doesn't look as bad as the official images and the official way that it's supposed to transform, that people, you know, have a problem with, I don't have an issue with it, but I'm going to try and finagle it when I finally get my hands on the figure, which won't be until it is officially released. So, but yeah, no, I think the figure looks awesome. And I think all of the Stunticons are just shaping up to be really, really good. I'm excited about every single one of them. And I'll be honest with you, I can't wait to get my hands on the Stunticons, because I skipped out on a lot of Combiner Wars because I did not like the figures. And I have Victorion. And having Victorion is kind of a taste of some of like all of the good, the bad, and the ugly out of Combiner Wars. And I'm like, they could have done her figure so much better. And I'm hoping if they were going to do Menasor this good, I'm hoping they do, you know, the other combiners this good too. And we finally get an image of Knockout. This one really excited me. He is a straight retool of Studio Series 86 Jazz, so you can already see the similarities and, you know, differences. I'm excited about this guy. You know, he's a fan favorite character. It doesn't matter. Like, if you watched any bit of Transformers Prime and enjoyed any bit of Transformers Prime, you liked this character, period. Everybody really likes this character, so the fact that he's getting a new toy, it's a good-looking toy. You know, a lot of Knockouts figures, they lack something. You know, really, every single one of them have a good car mode and not so much of an accurate robot mode. And the reason for that is because the animation model for Knockout doesn't translate very well into toy when you're trying to, like, one-to-one it. And a lot of Transformers Prime had that issue. They kind of showed that when they were doing the model for RC, for, you know, Transformers Prime RC, you know, trying to make her into the legacy toy. And for this, I think he does look good. You know, and some people are like, oh man, he, you know, it's too flat of the front of the car, but I'm like, he still looks good in them steel plated radials, right? And you know, here he is posing. His weapon can actually separate. He does have the halberd, and his blaster can, and the little spike there, the trident, can turn into like a spear that he used in I forgot what the name of that episode was in Transformers Prime, but he actually used it, I think, more than once too. But yeah, he can have like that whole full-on spear, and his car mode looks great. This is where you can really see how much of a retool, because whereas Jazz is, you know, the Porsche, you know, and they really went to try and make him look more like the Porsche, Knockout, they really went ahead and like actually changed his car that much more. So there's a lot more retooling with him than there was before. So I think I dig him. I definitely want him to add him to my collection. So, and yeah, even I do wish that they did not have that stupid, you know, the peg on the outside. Like, they do it for one wheel where it's good, and they do the other wheel and it's not. It's like, man, like, I wish they would just do it both the same way, and then we wouldn't see the peg sticking out of the tires. Tarantulas, awesome, straight up. Like, I've been saying I want to complete my season 1 of Beast Wars figures with this legacy line, and, you know, War for Cybertron and Kingdom and everything. And, you know, mind you that Scorponok is still, he is like the bane of my existence. I cannot stand that toy, and I really wish that a third party would come along and show them that you can make a good to scale Scorponok figure with War for Cybertron, because yeah, anyway. But Tarantulas, on the other hand, awesome, straight up. They've gone ahead and really went above and beyond to make him like superposable. He looks like the character, does not have any bit of him that shares a mold with Black Arachnia. It's actually a new mold, and that, to me, I think, except for maybe the gun itself is, I think, is the same. And then he has this Energon saw, which is kind of a drawback to his Transmetal figure. But other than that, he looks awesome, straight up. I keep saying that, like, I repeat myself sometimes, but I can't say it any other way. Like, I was really impressed with this Tarantulas figure. You know, for being a Beast Wars fan, I wanted a season 1 Tarantulas that was much more posable even than the original Beast Wars figure was, and is a good figure, and this one does it. Like, it's actually a really good looking figure. The spider mode looks great too. Like, that spider mode, they went above and beyond again. Like, here you've got like these awesome looking long big legs. They didn't go with the fuzzy, you know, legs. They said that they wanted to be a little bit more robotic with the tarantula legs, but they did kind of make the plastic look a lot more like an actual tarantula, which is very much appreciated. It also kind of makes me wonder what they're going to do when they do Inferno. I can't wait to see Beast Wars Inferno. Like, that one I think is going to be just as good as this one, and at least I'm hoping. All right, Elita One, this one got me. I was very, very excited when I saw this image. Elita One, finally, a really good looking figure for her. She has been needing a good looking figure for like ever. Like, I don't like the Power of the Primes jet. It's just too beefy for her. It just doesn't match her. The War for Cybertron one, it's like, well, it's just a retool of RC. It doesn't feel like it belongs to be with Elita One at all. And it didn't have the right head sculpt. And I was like, oh, what can we do? Could we cut the head off and trying to like, because the way that they molded that head, you couldn't do it. Well, this one does it. This one actually brings Elita One and gives her a really good modern alt mode that still gives her a solid looking robot mode. And on top of that, it even has a good looking car mode too. But look at this robot mode though. The head sculpt is great. Of course, she has the shoulders on her back. She did not have that in G1, but you got to understand something. They're trying to get her to transform into a car, and the Elita One model for the animation did not have, any car parts on her back. But they've incorporated quite a bit. She has her G1 guns, even though they're clear plastic. And I know a lot of fans are either going to spray paint it or they're going to, get third-party guns. But her car mode itself, my wife's first reaction when she saw this was like, oh, wow, it looks retro. It looks like an old school, like 1950s car. And I can kind of dig that, like with these big tires and, like the way that front fender looks. And the top of the car there is actually a separate piece. It's designed to draw back to when she was in car mode driving alongside Optimus Prime and had like what appeared to be her head on the top of the car. Well, it's actually a removable piece. And the reason why, and it's very, very clear and easy to see, that they're going to retool her into Minerva. Minerva was from Transformers Master Force, which was the second Japanese exclusive anime that came after the Rebirth. You had Headmasters and then you had Master Force. And so Minerva is definitely going to be coming out of her. So the whole idea of that piece being removable means that they're going to put a light bar on the top of her in order to make Minerva. And the biggest way that they showed that, Elita One herself was actually able to, be a retool of Minerva was the shoulder pylons themselves can come up. And by doing so, brings that same silhouette of Minerva, whereas Elita One, you're going to want to put them down. So it's going to be basically like how each robot is going to wear the mold. And the thing is that I think they're going to retool the both robots to look different enough that it's going to be justified in a lot of ways. So like you're going to see a lot of similar tooling out of Minerva and out of Elita One, I can already tell. And I love the robot head. I love the sculpting on the shoulders. She looks fantastic. She looks awesome. And something, taking a look at her actual legs, some people are going to, say like, how come her legs are not like more, more G1 accurate? But again, she has to be able to transform into a car. So I'm perfectly fine with that, specifically for Elita One, looking the way that she does. She looks great. Now, G-Axis is the first of the Voyagers, and I will say that I am very excited about him. If you are not familiar with G-Axis, he comes from the Generation 2 comics, and the G2 comics only ran for 12 issues, and he was leader of the second generation of Decepticons, and he was actually under the command of Liege Maximo, but he had he came in and he was like a wrecking ball, basically, and Optimus and Megatron both had to fight him. And the reason why I'm really excited about G-Axis is because here I've got my G2 Megatron, and I can't wait to get Laser Optimus, and on top of that, being able to have like the Generation 2 G-Axis, because they even said in the live stream, like the last time that they did G-Axis, they didn't make him comic book accurate. So I'm excited about that in particular, just for that very same reason. And his jet mode in particular here, it looks great. I definitely say the jet mode looks great. I know some people are going to look at it and go, hey, it looks weird. It looks very weird. He's supposed to look weird. He's a Cybertronian jet. And he's got you can already see here, he's got the G2 Decepticon symbol. So it's a different Decepticon symbol than, than what the regular Decepticons have. And he's got like these really cool looking bat wings. It's an interesting looking mold. His name derives from the fact that Simon Furman, I believe, named him because it's G, axe us. Like, in other words, like cutting off Transformers. Like, he already knew he only had like 12 issues. So that's where the name of the character came from. And, but I'm excited about it. Very, very excited about it. And the next Voyager is one where I said, yeah, well, at least I'm saving money on at least one of them. Literally. I was not too happy about this. They are doing Soundwave without any battle damage. So if you wanted the Siege mold of Soundwave without battle damage, great. More power to you. I'm disappointed because so many fans have asked me, what can they do about getting this guy? Netflix Soundwave. Now, mind you, this is my customized Netflix Soundwave, but at the same time, so many fans really wanted Netflix Soundwave. They could not get the figure. It did not show up in their stores. And here now they're re-releasing the Siege one, just the straight Siege Soundwave, but without battle damage. So it's good for fans who really wanted to get at least a Soundwave figure and missed out at some point. But unfortunately, this, in my eyes, it misses the mark. Now, I know. Blitzwing showed up online before any official Hasbro reveals, but I was waiting until Hasbro, or at least, there was some more official news to come out about Blitzwing before talking about him. And I will say, I really, really dig the robot mode. The robot mode looks great, looks awesome. I love it. I love the sword that he's coming with. I love the blasters that he's coming with that are very G1 accurate. The robot mode overall just looks fantastic. It's the other modes that everybody is going, man, they could have done it so much better. They really could have done these molds a lot better. But every triple changer seems to suffer at some point for the transformation when you're taking a tank, a jet, or you're taking a dune buggy into a helicopter, or you're taking a rocket car into a helicopter, or a tanker truck into an airplane. There's always going to be some give and take. And it's where you're going to have to look at it and go, does it work? Even G1 Blitzwing had to have some give and take in order to make that tank mode work, in order to make the jet mode work. And I'll be honest with you, from the top, he's going to look great. But it's that undercarriage that everybody's going to go, he doesn't look right. He doesn't look right with all that undercarriage. And I'm wondering if there's any way to hide that better. I don't know if it would have worked if they actually tried to make it work better. I do like the fact that he comes with two blasters just for the fact that he now has a blaster on each side and he has some weapon storage. So I think he's serviceable, in jet mode. Tank mode, on the other hand, is where everybody kind of flipped their wig. And I'll be honest with you, I think it works as a tank only because it is animation accurate, but I do wish that there was something to cover that cockpit a little bit more, because the original Blitzwing toy was shown wrong in the animation model. The animation model had the tank turret facing the opposite direction, and the cockpit was sticking out on the front, making it the front, but the tank itself was supposed to go the other way. And so what they went here with is they decided to make him animation accurate for the tank. You can flip it the other way, but it doesn't look right. I would not put it past some third-party guys to make something that can cover that a little bit better to make it look more uniform as a tank. Because with the tank with the jet cockpit sticking out, it doesn't feel complete, But as far as a tank, again, it's also serviceable. Both modes are serviceable. They're just not great. I know people have been flipping their wig about it, but I dig them. I think it's already a better mold. I'm looking at the Titan's Return. I looked at the Titan's Return one earlier, and I was just like, man, they could have done this so much better. I don't like the tank mode on that toy. I don't like the jet mode, in my opinion, on the Titan's Return. The jet mode is the only good mold. The only good mode for the Titan's Return figure, and the robot mode is the really good mode for the Legacy one. So it's really like a give and take, and I think the Legacy one just kind of edges it out just a little bit. And of course, I have to talk about the silly weapons. Those weapons that he comes with, they're not doing it for me. I don't see a purpose to them. That is the one thing I just like. It's an extra accessory. It's very much like Shockwave with all those extra arms sticking off of him. I feel the same way about these weapons as they do about Sea Shockwave, even though both toys are probably really good. Motormaster really impressed me. I said it before about with Wild Rider, how the Stunticons are looking like, fantastic. And I like the way that they combine, but man, Motormaster blew me away. I'm really, really excited about this figure. A Commander class Motormaster, and the cab itself is what transforms into the robot. So when you have the full truck, the trailer itself is used for everything else, for making Menasor, and and the truck cab becomes, Motormaster himself. And Mark also said during the live stream that the white piece there sticking off the side is made out of a certain type of plastic. So you're not going to be able to paint it, but you will be able to probably put some labels on it. I wouldn't be surprised if Toy Hacks does something to cover that up a little bit better. But this is one of the first times that we have seen Motormaster have the cab officially in an official capacity. Because I believe that they looked at third party. Third party is doing Menasor this way, where everything is, where the cab itself turns into Motormaster and the trailer itself becomes the skeleton for Menasor. And I'm perfectly fine with it. In an official capacity where it's a little bit more affordable to get, I'm cool with it. And I really, really want this figure because I want a good official Menasor. What was really cool is that the trailer itself actually becomes a base mode. Now, this base mode doesn't feel like it belongs with Motormaster, because the base mode for the original Motormaster figure transformed into a car launching pad for Trypticon. You'd attach him to Trypticon and then it would launch cars off of him. But this time it's done in a base mode that's similar to, I want to say, Machine Wars Optimus Prime, or maybe kind of reminds me of Laser Optimus, like the original Laser Optimus Prime. It kind of reminds me of that. But this weapons kit is supposed to be usable. The actual gun blaster itself is the gun for Menasor. And it looks like the combination uses a similar port style as Combiner Wars. So some people have been making note that, hey, maybe you can use your Combiner Wars limbs on Motormaster to make Menasor. I wouldn't be surprised, but looking at it this way, the way the door flap, the way the transformation is done, really looks cool. When the car attaches to the back, the front of the panel here actually comes out to give you that, combined leg. So when Wild Rider attaches, you're going to get a complete leg. And I gotta say, it looks really cool this way because it gives him a stable heel. And to my understanding, it's supposed to be a full-on heel spur. So if they can do it right, great. I want to see how it looks overall because I'm really, really curious to the stability of the figure, overall. But it looks like it's going to stand really well. And same thing for Drag Strip. Drag Strip actually attaches in mid-transformation and then separates in order to give you the full arm for Menasor. That head sculpt for Menasor looks fantastic. I really, really dig him. I cannot wait to get him complete. I want to get all 5 Stunticons. I'm looking forward to it completely. And one final look at this image here of all of the Decepticons. This is what I said before. All of Wave 2 of Legacy is Decepticons versus Elita One. And I really feel for her. She needs some extra backup. And maybe we'll get some more of the female Autobots. That would be great. If they gave us the other female Autobots in Legacy, give us, all of them. Firestar, of course they'll call her Novastar. Give us Moonracer, give us Chromia, give us Greenlight, give us Lancer, give us a Windblade, give us, on the Decepticon side, give us a Seeker, give us Slipstream, right? If they can do Elita One this good, they can do Slipstream just as good as well, with a brand new jet mold. And I think they all look good together. So with the exception of Soundwave, because I've already got the good one. And this is where here's something I will tell you guys now. If you want me to make mention to Hasbro, hey, I don't have pull or I don't believe I have that much clout, but if you want me to tell them, hey, you guys want Netflix Soundwave, let me know. And the last reveal was really exciting to see, because this one I had been going back and forth with myself about whether or not I wanted to repaint my Kingdom Ultra or get another Kingdom Ultra Magnus and paint him as Delta Magnus. Or maybe take the Siege one and do it. Well, it looks like they're already going to be doing it, because they're giving us a Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus. I believe he's a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, so you'll only be able to get him through Hasbro Pulse. But here is the cool thing. The colors on him look fantastic, right? He has the smaller Magna Convoy bot mode, so it's a blue truck. Looks great. Looks awesome. But here is the exciting thing. The head sculpt is this skull head to be Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, and then it comes with the second head that you can swap with a screwdriver for Kingdom Ultra Magnus's head, so you can make your Delta Magnus. So if you want it to be the good Autobot Delta Magnus, or you want it to be the evil Autobot, Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, you can do that. That's cool. That's a selling point right there. That sold me. I was on the fence. I was literally on the fence. I said, I don't know if I want to get it. I really don't know if I want to get, Delta Magnus, because as much as I know so many of you love Shattered Glass, the toy line just is, I haven't been collecting it. I'm more excited for people who really like Shattered Glass and want to get figures for it and want to get more of them. I'm excited for them. This is how I feel about any toy line where they're coming out with new toys for characters that they love, is that I'm happy to see more fans get the characters that they love out of the toy lines. And, where I might not collect something like Shattered Glass, I don't collect Movieverse, Bayverse specifically. I don't collect, a lot of different toy lines. I prefer my very, very G1 style collection. I like when fans are able to get their favorite bots too. And if it's something that I like to get, like Knockout and Bulkhead, and, if they gave us Lugnut, good God, please give us Lugnut. I would really like to see a Legacy Lugnut and a Legacy, Armada Demolisher. I would love to see those particular bots get, brand new toys of them. And Slipstream. Slipstream's still my number one. Still my number one. I want Slipstream. Has been my number one for a while. But that's how I feel about all of this stuff coming out for Legacy. That Legacy is not going to leave you behind. They're just trying to come out with a whole bunch of different toys, a little bit by little bit, and they're going to reach the 40th anniversary. They said Legacy is going to lead into the 40th anniversary of Transformers. So what that tells you is that be patient. Stop leaving so many toxic comments on the live streams, and in places. Like, let's get a little bit more positive. They're giving you Studio Series. They're giving you so many good, awesome toys. And I know it's my little bit of a rant here, but I wanted to say that because I honestly believe that, we're going to see some awesome Transformers moving forward. But I want to know what you guys think about all these reveals. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have a brand new Transformers retrospective coming very, very soon, so you can stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.